I just
Hey, welcome guys. We are on another live video today. Guys, I am super pumped. Johnson's going to be coming in here in a few minutes. This Hair on Fire is coming off another meeting. We've got an incredible guest today. We got our buddy Scott Sillari from Viral Marketing. I have been a longtime proponent of and a client of since August of 2014. Guys, we're going to talk about how we're going to be able to get a lot of data, how to get a lot of leads from your database using video, which, a lot of us don't like to do. But in today's day and age, we're going to learn how video is going to be so massively important, what Viral does. But not only that, then we're going to go dive deep into content. And we're going to really show you guys where to get good content, how content builds trust, what you should be doing right now on content building versus just blasting out and, doing all that stuff. But enough about me. Sillari, welcome, my old friend. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm good, man. It's good to see you. It's good to be here. I'm excited to be on the podcast, man. And I follow you guys. I watch. I try to comment when I can. So, and I'm just looking forward to adding some value for your audience and sharing some knowledge and having a good time and messing around, man. Just having a good time and to learn and add value,
So all of you guys that are listening to this, you can't see this, although all of you guys watching this either live or on the replay. Scott and I did not call each other and say, dude, are you going to trim your beard and are you going to make sure you wear your red polo shirt today?
Yeah, we did not coordinate that. I can't believe it. It literally looks like the same shirt.
I know.
I'm jealous of your salt, though. I'm still too black, man. I really like your salt. I'm jealous.
Dude, everyone's making fun of me and my white and my beard. I'm like, dude, no. This, you dipped it in knowledge. That's why it's gray. Or it's just real estate and I've stressed myself the fuck out for so long. It's just like, crap. It is what it is. But Scott, tell them a little bit about you, Viral, what you guys do, how you kick ass, how you take names, wash, repeat, and do it again, all that good stuff, man.
So, as you know, and real quick, Greg, thank you for being a client for as long as you have. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
But I was distracted. I was sharing on Viral's page, so we're live on Viral's page now. Yeah, but Viral Marketing, our number one thing is to help you generate more listings and repeat referral business from your database. And how we do that, obviously, is using video. Video is huge. If you're not using video, you're kind of getting behind the times. You are behind the times, honestly, because you have to connect, and it's the idea is one to many, right? And we help you do that. We have a turnkey solution to implement and execute all the marketing for you, so you as the business owner don't have to sit there figuring out how to edit a video and write up a blog post and post it to social and all these things that you really shouldn't be doing. Now, unless you love it and you're good at kind of that type of C personality where you're good at systems and things like that, right? But so Viral implements it all for you, gets it out to your list, helps you stay in touch with your database so that you're staying in front of those people, nurturing them for as long as it takes to convert that business.
And it really is true, guys. One of the things that I love about doing video is I get to be seen and heard by people. So, like Scott was saying, like, dude, I haven't talked to you since my wedding. I'm like, no. He's like, oh, wow. Scott felt as if he already had been in a communication, with me.
Because I see you in my freaking news feed every day, Daniel. Won't leave me alone. It's like you're retargeting me specifically.
I'm here just to haunt you. So where's Sillari? I'm gonna get him. I know.
I'm like so thankful I don't have to see John. Once Johnson comes on, then it's gonna be like, I might as well sleep with you guys. For fuck's sake.
Hey man, as much as we cheat, or shit. Yeah. But when it comes to content, one of the things that I think is really, really powerful, and I want to jump into.
Is it weird that I'm in bed a lot of times when I'm hanging out with you and Johnson?
No, because I've been in a lot of other more precarious situations when people naked in the shower. I heard the weirdest places like, oh yeah, man, I take you in the shower with me, and it's a dude telling me that. I'm like, all right, bro, seriously, that shit just got really weird. I understand, but damn.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. You do that. That's this whole point of the show, man. We're all about doing that stuff. But about bringing content, guys. Where to develop the content? And I think a lot of the times, and let's jump into this because I want to make sure that we really have a lot of fun with it and talk about the different areas, different types of content, when you should push it out, how often is too much, how often is not enough. Length of videos, types of videos, live videos on Instagram, Facebook. The recorded videos. All of these different aspects of video and how to market into your database, how to track all of that is absolutely paramount if you guys want to be successful. And that's what I fucking love about viral marketing, guys. And again, this is not a viral push. It's just Scott and I have been working together since August of 2014. And here, okay, check this out. August of 2014. How many leads do you think they have, identified for me that have on their own volition pressed, I'm interested in buying a home or I'm interested in selling a home? The answer is 1,633 leads that have been generated just from me sitting my monkey ass down in this chair with this background, chattering away to this camera with this mic. That is something that has generated this interest, and people like one of my managers up in our Blackhawk office, he calls me professor because I'm always coming with some sort of knowledge. Which if you knew Vance, you would laugh your ass off because the guy's absolutely amazing. But people like follow this. My sister's husband's brother's wife is a professor, and when she sees the videos come through, she just, what's Greg doing? Click, watch the videos. It's amazing to see what kind of impact you can have with people you have no clue that are watching. I mean, even the guy, his name is Greg. He works at Trader Joe's over here. He's always like, hey, man, how are you? Good to see you, brother. I'm like, hey, Greg, Greg's Unite, that kind of a bullshit thing. And then he's like, dude, I saw your last video, man. That's good shit, bro. I'm like, how do I have your email address? I mean, fuck. But it's cool. Hey, look who came in, Johnson. What up, buddy?
Yes. Oh, man.
Johnson, we didn't coordinate. I swear to God, we didn't coordinate.
Yeah, no, I believe you because I wouldn't recommend that color for either of you. Very, very, very red. So we got to talk about this, guys. We got to get fashion
very much a middle finger. You read between the lines, homie.
I'm sure it is. All right, guys. So I just came off of recording an intro for Legends and Losers with Chris Lockhead for a big episode. Chris was able to interview billionaire Jeff Hoffman, the guy that wrote the book Scale. Now, Greg, you and I were just talking about this book 2 hours ago on a coaching call. It's literally one of the best books I've ever read right here, Scale. Okay. So this is one of my top 5 recommended books. It's actually one of the 5 books I've restricted myself for the rest of the entire year. And Chris got to interview the guy that wrote it, who founded Priceline and a bunch of other stuff. And he literally travels around right now, or has in the past, I should say, on a cruise ship called the Entrepreneurship, where he hosts workshops and stuff, basically teaching and spreading entrepreneurship all over the world. Amazing guy. So we're recording the intro to his episode, which will come out later this week. So I apologize for being late, guys. I am super psyched to be here. I'm psyched that you guys are here, Wyatt and Rob and Paul and Lynn and all the people we have watching with us live. Guys, let us know that you're here. Like and heart the video. Give us some comments. Let us know where you are at so we can all keep you in mind for referrals. And we want to know what you guys are challenged with right now in your business so that we can help you out. Just put your biggest challenge in the comments right now. So
Matt Johnson.
I'm curious.
Matt, coming in hot, baby. I like it. Yeah, fired up.
Yeah. That's right.
That's my biggest challenge.
What's his biggest challenge? People are trading Bitcoin for real estate. I am your biggest challenge. Well, for everyone in my life, I am their biggest challenge.
Johnson, you're not my biggest challenge.
Yeah, but we're not. Yeah, but we're like 1,000 miles away now. I don't have to sit 8 feet away from you anymore, thank God, because I would have strangled you.
Oh, dude.
For anyone that doesn't know, Scott and I met when I started working for Viral. So I've actually known Scott longer than I have Greg McDaniel, by about 4 months. And wow. Scott handed me all the clients in Viral's history that were the most used to working with Frank and Scott. Let's put it that way. So they were off system, unruly, awesome, all at the same time. In fact, we had one of them on here recently, Dan Beer, which is a phenomenal episode. Dan's a great guy. And we had a lot of fun with him on the show.
Oh, good. I'm
And
glad.
we had basically a bunch of other clients like that were really at the top of their game. And it was no joke. It was definitely a trial by fire when I started working with all those people, although they were very relieved to not have to work with Scott anymore.
Oh, dude. Okay, so I gotta say something. Paul Franklin, you're watching right now, dude. Knuckles to you. I got your Facebook message today. Super awesome, brother. Glad that you and Matt and I are helping kind of a positive impact in your business. I forwarded over to Matt. Matt was super humbled. He wrote back in all caps, "Wow." I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I thought you would want to see this." So, dude, thank you. We are humbled. We are honored, and we are glad that you are here. Now put the check in the mail. No, I'm kidding. Just playing. Okay, so Matt, catch you up to speed. What we're doing is we're going to break into content ideas for marketing, marketing into your database, how to use the different types of videos, long, short, live, edited, unedited, the whole laundry list of stuff. But do you have a question from LGSL by any random, awesome, weird chance?
No. I don't at the moment. No, I mean there's a couple things that have been on my mind that we can talk about, partially inspired by some of the coaching calls we've done lately, which we can get into in a second. But I'll throw it out there. What I would like to talk about a little bit today, besides the content ideas for real estate, because I know we can go all day on that with Scott and their experience with the clients that they have, is I'd like to talk a little bit about nailing down your goals to numbers. Right. So we've been doing this a lot with the people that we've been working with that are in our crew for the mastermind that we're putting together. And so when I say crew, I mean, guys, these are 5 people that are really representative of kind of the whole cross section of our audience. Right. So we've got new agents, we've got agents who have been in the business that are kind of starting over and they need new ideas and all this stuff. Right. And one of the things that we've been really working on with them is getting really, really clear about not just what their dream is, right? Not just what their big moonshot or the stars that they're hoping to reach, but helping them to put that down into more numerical goals in terms of, hey, here's the actions I'm going to take to meet those goals. And Scott, you and I have both dealt with this on the marketing side in terms of like, hey, we're going to give you a report. We're going to put in your hands of all the people that watched your video that are probably interested in what you have to say about real estate. And they're probably interested in real estate because nobody clicks and watches a video on real estate unless they're interested in real estate for some reason. And for most people, that's only when they're thinking about it because they're thinking about buying and selling. And one of the funny things is that there's every good intention to follow up on those leads, just like every agent has great intentions to get on the phone. I mean, Greg, you and I dealt with this a little bit today when we really dug in with an agent and really asked them, okay, great. What are all the things that are working? Well, it's this, and this. And out of that list of 4 things, only one thing was something that they were actually doing. It was an activity that they were doing. All the other things on the list were things that other people or companies they paid were doing. Right. And so we really worked on getting those activities nailed down to numbers. And I've just been learning it. And Scott, I know you put note Pasquale and Nico. We've been working with them on the coaching side and learning how to really help people nail that down. So I just want to encourage you guys, whenever you set a goal of say, I'm going to do X, pin a number to it, even if it's as simple as, hey, I'm going to spend 30 minutes doing this. If you can't quite nail it down to, I'm going to do X number of this, then at least pin it down to the minutes. Right. So I was emailing back and forth with Pasquale about this over the weekend, and he said something really good. I asked him, if you have a project and you don't really know like how long it's going to take to get done, how do you set that into like a numerical goal? He said you break it down, even if you have to break it down to the minutes that you're going to spend. It's like just break it down somehow into a number and commit to it and do it. And so, Greg, I'm curious to get kind of your reaction based on some of the calls we've had over the past week or so with our mastermind crew on the value of breaking goals down into numbers.
Sorry, I was doing hashtags and updates and follows and comments.
Oh my
and everything
God! Can I respond, Johnson?
Yes. Please do, since Greg is taking care of some other stuff.
So one of the things that I've been gathering a lot of information from Tim Heil this year because I've been going to all of his events, and the one thing that I pulled from that whole seminar that he does is that through all the ups and downs and all the shit that he had to deal with trying to grow the business in the right way, the one thing that he did every day is he got 5 nurtures a day. Now, the way he defined a nurture was, it's kind of like BANT. It's like someone that is considering, doing business within a certain amount of time frame and has said yes to potentially, at that time would consider working with you. And so he has this these qualifications for what a nurturer is. But no matter what, rain or shine, no matter how his business was falling apart, whatever he did, his goal was 5, right?
Yeah.
So however many phone calls he had to make and attempts and contacts to get that number. So I think if you take that in as symbolism of what's your number, especially as a realtor, it can be in any business. What's your number? What are you doing? What's your one thing? How many contacts and attempts do you need to get that many people in your pipeline? And then once you do that, if you do that every day, you're going to start to figure out the amount of sales that are going to eventually convert over time from that. And you're going to see that down the road, the positioning and the amount of business that you gain over time.
Yeah.
So I think that's huge.
And one thing I've been fascinated about recently, and I brought it up on the show here just last week, was the idea that there are kind of 2 boxes that we can put our lead generation activities into. And we've got predictable results, right? So activities that generate very, very predictable results. And then we've got this box over here for unpredictable results, where we don't really know how much of our action it's going to take to get the payoff that we want. And I think there's a lot of people that they live in the world where everything they're doing is all in that box of, I have no idea whether this is going to get me what I want. The good news about real estate is we have a lot of data, right? So real estate hasn't really changed that much. And in the areas that we do have, it's changed in areas that have actually made it easier for us to track the numbers, right? So the things that have changed about real estate most significantly the last 10 years have been the rise of online lead generation. But guess what? It's even easier to track that than it is anything else. So we went from tracking phone calls, like outgoing prospecting phone calls, to now we're tracking things like inbound real estate lead conversions, right? Well, we have a pretty good idea. I mean, we can go to Jeff Combs' numbers just as a quick example. We know that if, for buyer leads that are generated off the internet, for the most part, Facebook and Google pay-per-click are about the same. In some areas that may be a little bit different, where one's clearly better. But for the most part, it's going to take 33 leads for you to get one of those under contract, right? And so you can look to other areas, and people go into the stuff blind going, I have no idea whether this is going to generate the results that I want. Well, the first thing you need to do is look at what other people are doing, because a lot of times somebody else has already solved that problem. Right? So one of the things that you and I both see a lot with agents is we see people that go and they sign up with a service, whatever it is, and they determine that they're going to do this for a couple of months or whatever, and they're going to see how it works. And online lead generation is a perfect example, because they get about 2 months in and, quote, the leads are crap, right?
Right.
Are they really crap, or is it just that they didn't ask 5 people who are already doing it what their conversion rates are? Because if they knew that going in, they would have known, okay, I need to talk to 33 people for every one person that ends up doing a deal with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's and then from there too, it's what are you doing long term to maybe bump those numbers up a little bit if you're thinking 2-3 years out with these leads. Because some of these ones that are coming in, you got to remember that all these people that are opting in, a lot of them want to buy or sell potentially, but they're not doing it right now. But it's just easy. It make it very easy for you to kind of, especially if you're in real estate right now, or you own a home right now, it's very easy to find out what your home is worth if you want, or very easy to search and just look around and be a looky-loo, So yeah, man. I mean, and that's, and it goes back to too as well. It's you have to always be focusing on the predictable now business that you can, if you make a certain amount of calls or you get a hold of people, that you're going to get some people that are ready to sell or buy right now in the next 30 days, 45 days, or whatever it is. Then you also have to be thinking about, all right, what's the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, a business that's in my database, or it's in all these leads that I'm getting that I need to stay in front of and add value and nurture. And that's when, obviously we talk about video being a really good way to do that, of course, to stay in front of people,
Yeah, exactly. And no matter how you're bringing them into your world, and I love Tim Heil's goal of having 5 nurtures every day, because that's 25 new people into your life every week. And then, let's see what that is per year. So 25 people, let's say you take a couple weeks of vacation, you're adding 1,250 people to your database. And I mean, really into your database. These are people that are nurtured. These are not people that you bought, but 1,200 people that you've personally talked to over the past year, every single year, year in, year out.
Yeah, and got the thumbs up on, if they're ready within a certain time to do business with you and want you to stay in touch with them and want you, you have a follow-up date, like all of that, and you got 1,200 of those going in, man.
Mm-hmm.
Your conversions over time are gonna exponentially go up, and that's when you start seeing your business start doing double. And as long as you're putting the systems in place and you're able to actually follow up with those people too,
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I think a lot of us kind of run away from the idea of building systems because it is more work on the front end, and that's true, absolutely true. And what most people don't want to do is they don't want to take the time to build that system up front because there's a little bit of that fear of putting in the work on the front end, but there's also, I think, a fear of actually succeeding. And Scott, building a system that starts bringing them more leads than they can handle. So any agent, any realtor will be interested in a tactic that will get them one more client. I think there's a much smaller pool of people that are interested in a system that will flood them with clients because they don't necessarily want to be flooded with clients. They don't want that problem. They want the problem of I want one more client, which is kind of an interesting thing. It's what you and I both love about Frank at Viral is that's one thing that he constantly harps on, and it's his approach. It's how do I build? Hey, I have X problem, right? I want to build the best system to solve that problem so that I never have that problem again. Most agents spend their entire careers solving the same problem over and over again, and that problem is how do I get one more client? Not 10 or 15 or 100. It's how can I get one more client?
One more.
And it's short-term thinking.
Yeah, it's the hamster on the wheel,
Yeah, and you and I see that a lot, unfortunately. And that's why a lot of people come into like our world is they're looking for a way off that hamster wheel.
Right.
Yes, I am back, guys. Sorry about that. My computer literally just completely decided to take a beach day and just picked up its towel and left me high and dry. I don't know what happened to it.
Thank God I was on. Otherwise, Scott would have just been chilling and answering questions.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious to see that. Scott's like, it's supposed to be a joint thing. What the hell?
Yeah, I would have held down the fort.
That's right.
Baby.
I know you would have.
All right, guys.
Peeps online,
Yeah, we've got some great comments coming in. Lynn says her biggest challenge is lead generation. After 30 plus years in commercial, I'm trying to do high-end residential since it's the only real estate thing she hasn't done. Loving it, but seems like everyone and their mother knows or is related to or committed to some other agent. How do you overcome this? It's so different than the commercial segment. Well, that's Lynn. Yes, it 100% absolutely is different from commercial, but not necessarily in a bad way. Let's get into that, and then we've got Karina. Paul says 5 legit contacts per day is such an attainable goal. You're absolutely right. So let's dive into what Lynn's question was on the lead generation side. So when you get into higher end real estate, and Greg, you know this because this is really the waters that you swim in, the social circle gets smaller. But is it really any different than the average residential person? I mean, if I go to $150,000 house in Omaha, and I really ask them, I guarantee you they all know somebody who's a family friend or extended whatever that is in real estate.
Oh yeah. What we say here in our valley, we say, look, in our area, there's so many real estate agents that if you throw a rock into a crowd and you don't hit 2, there's something wrong with your social circle. So let me explain how we work a little bit differently, and then I dive into what I'm going to talk about. And I have said this many times on the show and on air and off air. I treat everybody the exact same. Look, everyone takes a dump once a day. Everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. No, you're not super special at a multi-bajillion-dollar home. Sometimes you're a bigger pain in the balls than anything else. You know what? You want to treat people with respect all the way across the board. So that $150,000 seller in my area, which I don't even think they exist, to be honest, or Eileen and I, the Steel Trap, we're looking at a $37 million home. Now, he's the owner of Oracle, so I mean he's a little bit different, but his neighbor is $7.9 million. Now, those people have just done wiser things financially, or were born into the lucky sperm club, and they didn't have to do anything. They were just given cash. But no matter what, they still need professionalism. The new buyer or seller, and or the ultra luxury buyer or seller. So come up with a plan dress up for the occasion, what your clients are going to look like. So for me in my area, we're pretty laid back. We're Silicon Valley-esque type. So it's undressed, unbuttoned shirts. That'd be weird.
It's very Fabio of you, Greg.
Yes, it would be. I can't believe it's not butter.
Do you carry a fan, like a portable fan around you so that it billows?
What, you don't?
Yeah. I do. Of course. I have one of those fans that clip onto my iPhone. So just always, and then I just hold it out with a selfie stick. So as I walk, my shirt is just always.
You're always
billowing.
doing the slow entry into the door. Like?
Yes. It's like being on stage at a rock concert, but just all the time.
Oh, that's funny. So in reality, guys, no, just go ahead and in your luxury market. I mean, just what would make you feel that little extra special, that little thing that's different than the rest of it, all the rest of the folks. Now we had Jay Samber on the podcast a couple of times about a year and a half ago. He talked about, and Derek Evans out of San Diego, talk about the fact that if you were to take, like, let's say I was big into mugs, right? And I talked about Yetis, Yeti this and Yeti that. Well, if Matt or Scott were the agent, they would go out to Amazon and pick up the Yeti bag, which is on like $150 or something, but is a $150 bag worth $1 million listing? Yes, it is, because there's no way in hell I'm going to forget about you if I love my Yeti, this is a knockoff, just so you know, but it's still really awesome. And then you give me a Yeti bag where I can take all my beers, all my sodas, all my sandwiches, and it's going to say ice cold for my whole weekend when I'm out on the boat. Yep. Pretty sure I'm going to be remembering you, but that's just an example, guys.
Well, I think that's one thing of positioning, though. So I was going to ask you, Greg, like, how do you position yourself differently? Because I feel like especially if you're trying to do luxury, you need to be seen as an expert. You really do. I mean, and it's not that like your average person thinks differently, but when you're in a multi-million-dollar price point, you're dealing with probably a lot more people that have more money, business execs probably, right? So how is positioning such a big deal for that, as being an expert, you think?
You know what? It's about going out and educating yourself on the marketplace, going out and being a student of the industry and of the place that you're working. So go read a daily blog, go read your board, see what the numbers are being put out about the stats. I had a guy named Robert who's actually going to start doing some calls for our team, which is pretty cool. I forget the name of the company. I'll remember by the end of the podcast. He sent me a report, which I thought was fantastic because it was super easy to read. I felt important. I felt like I made a great decision by buying my house because since I bought it, it's gone up 41%. Yay me. In the last 12 months, it's gone up 8.89%. Yay me. And I could understand the language. And so for me, I felt as if this was sent to me by an agent, CoreLogic is the one that did this. It's $50 a month. You can put 5,000 reports out, and these are freaking awesome reports. So yeah, CoreLogic. But I felt safe by having that report sent to me because I didn't have to go through real estate jargon to try to get to the end of it, and there wasn't a whole lot of small type that I didn't care about. It was big bullet points, and it was easy for me to digest in. And I felt the agent that sent it to me knew what they were talking about. I was desperately trying to search over here, guys, for my booklet that I have. I think you guys have seen the booklet before. But it comes in.
Did I have like a sniff and scratch at the bottom too, Greg?
Yeah. Did I get the lemon? Oh, I got the lemon. Nobody wants the tangerine. Sniff and scratch. It smells like money. This is what it's gonna feel like when you work with me. Money in your palm of your hands. But I put that out there. I do our presentation. We're a 6-agent team, been in the area for 40 plus years, been in the business for 37 in the Valley. Terry's been in it for 46. One of the the partners, me, Terry, and Chris, will always be boots on ground so that you can always have communication. Eileen will be your point woman for all this, anything you need. Even if she's on vacation, she'll be answering the phones. I take away a lot of the things that are fear-based, points during a real estate transaction, and I just put them right up front that what we're going to do. But I think what I'm going to change, Scott and Matt, is instead of dictating to them, Matt, something that we learned the other day on the podcast is that really good phrase. Remember what it was? And is this: you go on and you say, Scott, what's your wife's name, by the way?
Trisha.
Scott, Trisha, hey, really appreciate you guys, having me in your home tonight. I have an idea of some of the things I would want to cover, with you today. But what are some of the main topics that you would like to talk about first? So, Steve, what I'm doing is I'm not positioning myself as the expert. I'm giving them the structure that I have something to talk about, but I want to ask what they're most interested in the beginning, so that I don't sit here and tell you about my conversion rates and my marketing if you don't give a shit. And all you want to look at is at my flyers and how pretty they are and go to my website. I let you dictate to where I'm going. That puts the sellers in a power position psychologically to make them feel like they're driving the boat, while you're staying maintaining control by the list of questions that you have that will bring them back on target if they decided to go way off track. So, long answer, man. My apologies.
Oh, man. Talk about long story longer. Goodness.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Well, one thing I wanted to touch on, Scott, that you mentioned about, demonstrating your expertise and things like that. And I think we talk a lot about that in getting out business, because of how that's such a crucial component of not only what the client needs to feel confident about coming to you and working with you. It's also a crucial component of what the agent needs to feel confident in reaching out and building up their database of people in that area. But again, one of the things that I really like about the approach that we both learned from Frank at Fire Marketing is to always start, like, whenever you have that issue of, well, I don't have enough clients, right? It's a marketing and a sales problem, right? To always start with forget about I need and I and me and me, mine, and I need this and I need, I got to provide for my family, and who cares? Nobody cares about you. It's always start with relationships. And I love that approach, because that when you position yourself as an expert using some of the things that Greg does with Facebook Live and videos out to his email and the things that Greg does, and the things that I do on social media as well, they're not about just pushing content out there that just makes me look good. It's about starting conversations that lead to relationships, because we all look through that lens of all marketing and all sales is just relationships. It's all just conversations that lead to relationships,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Being honest and transparent and genuine, authentic. I mean, I know we use those words a lot, but in this day and age, it's how you get through the clutter and the noise and people connect with it. And so whatever you can do to position yourself, and this goes back to actually answering that question, is, if you can get in the door, great. We're going to use these skills that Greg has. But the idea is, if you are having a lead problem, you need to start focusing on the relationships that you're building. If you're building them in the right place, and who are you going out to talk to every day? As we jump back to the numbers you talked about, Johnson, what are you doing to take your lead generation system to break it down into actual tangible numbers that you need to produce every day? And are you hitting those numbers? And what are you doing to do that?
Yeah. And that was one of the things that we noticed, and just both in all of our calls leading up to this mastermind that we're launching, is just how many, I guess, maybe how easy it is. That's probably a better way to phrase it. How easy it is to overlook that, right? Because it's very easy to get busy with all of the other stuff, whether it's client servicing, or even if you don't have clients. Somehow people manage to keep themselves busy with other things without having clients, and they're not busy talking to potential clients. They're somehow finding themselves busy with other things. I don't know what else there is to do. If you're not getting clients and you don't have clients that you're servicing, it's one thing. I can take a look at my calendar, and I can isolate the times when I'm not having enough outbound conversations with new or newer people in my world. And I can pin it down to, I'm spending too much time in client servicing, right? I'm getting sucked into the business too much. I need to push more onto my team and my director of operations and all that stuff, right? So you have to make that conscious effort to push stuff back on them and make sure that you're not accidentally getting sucked into the client servicing too much. But when you don't have clients and you're not having conversations with potential new clients, you got to ask yourself, what am I doing? Looking at your calendar and going, okay, where in my day today am I having conversations that's going to lead to relationships? Because you can always trace it back to there. If you don't have the number of clients that you want, if you don't have the number of conversations, or you don't have the quality, right? A really great example of this is there was an agent that one of a coach was working with, and he had made something like 1,000 expired phone calls without taking a single listing. Now, if you're a human being with a pulse, you should be able to, I mean, even the blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. You should be able to fall, like just randomly knock on expired listings doors, and eventually you're going to take one just by sheer accident. And so he wasn't getting any. Well, it turns out he was having lots of conversations, but he was so bad and so direct in conversation that he literally turned people off in the first 30 seconds and never got a shot at a single listing. So you have to have both. You have to have the number of conversations, and then they have to be quality conversations in order to bring business in. So,
there's a couple of new technologies out there that I got hooked in on from my Rockstar Connect event that I did last week, last Tuesday. I had a conversation.
Last Tuesday.
On last Tuesday, I had my Rockstar Connect networking event, and my friend Christy came in, and she had one of her guys named Clay was with her, and they have a new technology. It's called onspotdata.com. Now, this is something really unique and interesting, and no one else is doing what they're doing right now in their space. And what onspotdata.com is doing is check this out. They build octagons or geofences around specific locations. They can filter it through any type of age or gender or industry or anything like that. And dude, this is the cool part. They'll track where your cell phone lives. So for all of you real estate agents, if you guys are interested in getting, because she walked in and she's like, well, how many leads do you want a day? And I'm like, well, I would love to get one a day. She's like, what if I can do better than that? I'm like, all right, I'm listening. And the cost per acquisition is relatively very low, but it can look at a certain location. So Scott, you and your wife are in your house at certain times or certain days. They will acquire your specific phone little address number on this thing. Then they'll follow you, and they can track wherever you go, and they can push out whatever you would like: video messages, banner ads, full page ads that go out to these phones. I think it's $1.50 per 1,000 impressions. So if you want to pick up people that are interested in buying in the area, you could go and give them a list of addresses of all the open homes for that Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Grab every cell phone that was on that property for more than 5 minutes, right? Then you can take those numbers and push ads back out to them about buying, like, hey, still thinking about buying a home in Danville? Hey, want to buy a home in Walnut Creek? You could push all of that out to those specific people. I mean, I talked to her today, and Matt, I sent you the information on it. It's pretty freaking cool. But imagine this. This is why I'm telling you this. Okay. Imagine you took.
I'm eagerly awaiting the point of this. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Shut
up. It sounds real scammy and kind of creepy. But,
no, it's not scammy. We're in big data. This stuff is totally right up my alley. But so check this out. You take with the viral marketing, you take the addresses from your databases, and you push ads directly to their cell phones about the video that you just sent them in their inbox, and see what your view rate would be, greater than what you would typically do. Some people just get stuff lost in emails. Like I suck at email, man. Shit gets lost all the time in email. That's why I said text me or Facebook message me if you really want to get my attention. But dude, these things all the information is going more and more towards these things versus anything else. And I thought it was really cool and just a new way to get data and stuff, or get contacts.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. All right. So there was a really good question here, and I wanted to address this real quick because it brought something to mind from this weekend. So this is in the lead gen scripts and objections group. Zenobia Taylor, it's her first post, by the way. So welcome, Zenobia, to the group.
All right. What up, Nobby?
So I became a realtor on October 1st. She was looking for tips for a newbie. I've been putting out business cards and pens, and she said something that caught my eye. This is a small parish with a population of about 40,000. So I want to give you a little pice of information that will reframe what you think of as small and what's potential in a small area.
It's a small parish. It's bigger. It's double the size of the town I grew up in.
Yeah. Well, you and me both, buddy. So we're at the One Life Fully Lived event this weekend, and Tim Rode is the founder of One Life Fully Lived, as well as the co-founder of Go Abundance. He is the former top Century 21, I believe at the time, agent in the country. So I don't know if you remember this, Scott, from your conversations with Sam and your interaction. So former #1 agent for the entire company and the entire country. Guess how big, and I didn't know this until Chris just reminded me of this here this past weekend, but do you know how big the town is that he operated in?
2,500?
No, he was in Manteca, California, Greg. Right now, Manteca is at 75,000. Now, he's been out of the business for, I don't know how many years, 5, 6, 7, at least maybe close to 10 years. He retired at age 40 and retired as one of the top agents in the country out of a market that probably had at that time 50 or 60,000 people in that market. So time to reframe what your idea is of small. You do not have to be in a huge area to be extremely successful. And we see that mentality show up in a lot of ways, Greg, just in other things. Just talking to people where the inventory is low in their area, or this is that. They're listening to other agents that have scarcity mindsets, and it's infecting them, and they're not realizing that you control way more of that than you know.
Yeah,
way
40,000 is a lot.
Yeah,
so much business in that, and if you can focus just on that, you'll be successful. You don't need to go outside.
Yeah, so I just wanted to remind people that, Scott, back in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, the stats on, if I remember right, the stats on what's hiding in your database goes something like this. For every 100 people on your database, and we're talking about that you've actually met, so people in your met database, for every 100 people, there is, I believe, 1 deal and 1 referral. So 2 total deals that you should pull out of every 100 people in your database, right?
No, your Mets should be every 12. There's 2 leads.
Yeah, he would say
there's
12 to 2. Really?
Yeah. He would say
maybe the 100 is the unmet.
It was like the 10%. It was kind of like a 10% rule almost, but I think it was 12%. Gary Keller would say. He said it would be 6 referrals and 6 repeats.
Oh, for every 100 people in your Met database.
For every 100 people in your Met database.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if you just did this, so for every 100 people, there's 12 deals. If
they know, like, and trust you, and you're staying in touch with them and adding value, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. That's 600 deals if you have 5,000 friends on Facebook that you're actually keeping in touch with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have 1,000 friends and you can only keep up with 1,000 people and provide 1,000 people value, that's 120 deals a year. That's most agents, if they had a shot, if they had enough leads coming in that would translate into 120 deals a year, they would be overwhelmed. They could not handle that demand.
No, and that's why they have to scale and bring on team members, right? Because it's like you realize you're like, wait, I have all these contacts, I'm generating all these leads, but no one's really staying in touch with them. No one's nurturing them. No one's working them and communicating with them at the amount and the level that you need to convert that business.
Yeah.
Right. So they're just
which is why when Greg told that story of somebody, saying, well, hey, what if I could get you more leads? Like more leads is usually not the problem. In fact, that sometimes causes the problem.
Yeah. It's the conversion part that we need to focus on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It is the conversion rate, and it's also the ability to be dedicated to doing the follow-ups and making sure that you spend time
is what makes you the money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
money's in the database.
Yeah, you can keep adding and making the phone calls and the attempts and the contacts. Every morning you should be doing that for a certain amount of time, and or numbers as we talked about. But your system, whatever system you have, CRM, whatever it is, needs to be telling you the follow-ups you have for that day based on conversations you had months ago. And that's where the money is. That's where the conversion happens. And you need to making sure that you have time spent for that, whether it's an hour or whatever a day to do all of your follow-ups, because that's so important.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm doing my follow-ups today, and I've done like 4 phone calls. One person already sold. Bummer. I did talk to them back in 2014, so I dropped the ball. Talked to another dude, been following up with him about his mom. He asked me to call him next week. He appreciated my follow-up. I've gotten an additional 3 other leads in the last 3 calling sessions doing database follow-ups, not just outbound cold prospecting, but going back and talking to people. I've had, got an investor that wants to spend $750,000, another guy that's thinking of selling because he's older and he doesn't want to do the stairs, and then this guy, his mom, wants to sell at the top of the market. And I suck at doing a follow-up. Lily, my girlfriend, she and I are keeping each other accountable. Like we're calling each other to egg each other on and to shame each other. So if I'm not doing my call, she'll call me up and be like, "Hey fucker, I just got 3 follow-ups. What'd you do today?" I'm like, "Oh, And, same thing to her. Hey, babe, I got blank amount of follow-ups or this amount of appointments. Stefan Adika, he does the same thing. It's important to find an accountability partner that will push you to do those follow-ups. It's so easy to say, they'll call me, they know me. When in reality, if you're not bringing value, they're going to forget about you really quickly.
So, Greg, are you pain or pleasure? Are you motivated by pain or pleasure?
Pain. 100% pain.
Nice.
I am.
You should have
not
some more.
a
You should have some real messed up
messed up
consequences. You should have some messed up consequences with your girlfriend, man.
I know where you're going with the pain,
if you don't do like the accountability, you don't hit your numbers every day, like ooh.
You don't get to hit your numbers then, if you know what I mean. Sorry, babe. Sorry. But it is true though. I mean, Matt, you and I were on a coaching call with an individual today, and I turned to him and I said, "What is it going to take if you don't hit your numbers? What are you going to give up if you don't do it?" And he stopped dead in his tracks, and you could hear his breath like stop breathing for a second. Because people don't think about that. They don't think like, well, if I don't do my numbers, it's okay. I'll do them tomorrow. Well, if you don't do that in a W-2 business that you get paid on a salary for, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you get fucking fired. But here, we just pat you on the butt, let you go grab a free cup of coffee and say, attaboy. Give yourself something that's going to either motivate the shit out of you, like the cars on the walls, or, not being able to go do that run with your friends every Saturday, or not being able to spend time with your kids, or, the consequences of not being able to afford the life that your wife or your husband, needs or wants, or whatever else it is. It doesn't always have to be monetary. It can be emotional. It can be, physical. Matt, you can't have cookies if you don't do your numbers. Matt, he would die. That's it.
I would waste away, and I'd blow away like a plastic bag in a strong breeze.
Just in the wind.
I think it's so important God, you got to think about your future. You really do, because we get so caught up in like our day to day, and like, I didn't make these phone calls, or I didn't hit these numbers today, or and then that can become a pattern. But even if it's just once a week, you have to think about what you're doing to your business in 5 years from now by not doing the things that you need to be doing now. Right.
Yeah. And this is why we need to get Pasquale back on the show, because he's hit on the breakthrough. Right. And Scott, I don't know if you saw the video that he sent out last, and they actually used you guys to send it out. It's remember the missing key revealed?
Yeah, we're resending it again, but I've been talking about it.
Yeah, so he's hit on it, and he's 100% right on this, which is, and this is why it's important to get your goals down to a number, and then to break those big numbers down into weekly and daily goals, because it's the only way that we as human beings can really find a goal that we can deeply care about on a daily basis. Because we have to break it down to a week where we can see the consequences just a few days out, where, hey, if I don't do this today, if I don't endure the pain right now of staying an extra half hour at the office or working through my lunch hour or whatever the case is, if we don't have the urgency to do that now, we can't claim to care about our goals, and we can't really care about something that's 90 days out or a year out. We definitely can't care about our business 5 years out from now. It's too hard. We have to make a decision on the front side. Hey, this is where I want my business to be. Here's how I need to get there. Now, here's what I need to do this week, and here's what I'm going to do today to contribute to this week. Right. So this week's goal for me, the mission is to get everything and all of our final calls done for the Rockstar Agent Mastermind. Well, we finished up 2 of the ones that we needed to finish up today. That was my mission for today, and we got it done because we got it. It's on the schedule. We wrangled everybody up. We did everything that we could. I did everything that I could to make sure that those calls went down, like reminder messages, getting people links. When somebody gets onto the wrong thing, it's like, no, we're back here. Here's the link. Go do this. Let's do this. I did everything that I could to smooth and pave the way for us to get those calls done, because I care deeply about how today contributed to the week, which contributes to the big overall goal of the Rockstar Agent Mastermind, because I understand of how that fits into the bigger business. If you just told me, hey, Matt, let's get this whole Rockstar Mastermind thing like up and running, because 2 years from now it'll be good for our business, it would have been very easy today, this morning, to put off one or both of those calls, right, Greg?
100%. I mean, it would have been very, very. I mean, you and I could have given up on Friday when we were dog tired and we were recording, Getting Out Business's, final episodes. We were dragging.
Which, as I was going to say, by the way, guys, it's worth buying that course just to see how loopy Greg and I were on the final 2 sessions. We
were off our
we held it together though. We held it together,
Yes.
but I think you can see it in our eyes. We were loopy. It was recorded at 2:30 and 3:30 respectively on Friday afternoon. But again, that's another proof of the point. We had set the goal. Our mission for that week was to get Now Business fully recorded and all the sessions done and in the can by the end of that week. And guess what? 3 o'clock on Friday rolls around and we are just out of it. Like we're dead. And we still did it.
Guys, I was recording since 8:30, 9 o'clock with Viral and then just rolled all through. And so it takes a lot out of you. But I think this is a good place to quickly segue and do 2 things really quickly. I want to talk about the fact that Matt and I are offering 3 different levels of coaching, guys. Matt and I are each offering individual coaching, 3 to 6 to 12-month stints. And you can PM me, or you can go to bookjohnson.com and you can book a time with him. Mine is going to be Book McDaniel. I just got to get my URL connected with my time trade thing. But we also have our mastermind thing when there's going to be 2 different price points on that. You get the stripped down version for about $16 a month, and that's bare bones. You don't get shit for that. Or you can go $97 where you get a lot of value plus a couple of bonuses. So if you are flat ass broke, $16, that'll work. Great. $97, great. If you want to jump it up and get some 101, guys, contact us, PM me, hit Matt up at bookjohnson.com and you can learn more about that. We've been getting so many requests on it, we just had to do something with it. But talking about your future use, right? This is why I wanted to talk about that. Our friend Sarah Johnson, who was on our show, God, she's like one of our first guests.
Yeah, a year and a half ago now.
Wow. She's reading the, Matt, well, you were reading this, Larry Kindle's Ninja Selling. Guys, if you haven't read that, that's some great shit. Chapter 9. This is all about kind of lead follow up and creating and sticking to your promise to yourself, which is your calendar. It says this: you'll be the same person in 5 years as you expect today, except for 3 things: the people you meet, the places you go, and the books you read. And that is talking about education, is talking about how to get deeper into your databases, is talking about how to become a better sales agent and a better human. Let's just face it. I mean, if you have marital issues, go get a fucking counselor.
Clearly hasn't worked for me and you, Greg, but I feel like it'll really, for the audience, it'll work.
Yeah, do as I say, not as I do, silly goose.
That's silly. I don't know how it worked for me. I guess I'm just better at selling than you guys. I sold the shit out of my wife. Yes, line and sinker. Yeah, best sale of my life.
That's what our friend Glenn Twiddle calls punching above his weight. It's the title of his new book. He shot. By the way, Greg, I don't know if he shot it to you. He shot me the cover of his new book, Punching Above My Weight. It's got him and Arnold Schwarzenegger working out on the cover of it. So, guys, well, we've got Glenn coming up on the show again. He is awesome, and he's going to blow you away. That book is going to be phenomenal. But there is one question I wanted to cover before we jump off, because this really caught my eye. This is from Bruman. This is in the lead gen script and objections group. Says, do you always include the CMA in your pre-list package or wait until the listing presentation? And I would just wanted to scream. So please, before I get a chance to do that, Greg, feel free to render your opinion.
Fuck no.
Thank you.
Dude, what the fuck? Dude, here, I'm going to give you a value of something I've never fucking seen before, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be accurate, sir. Oh, Barney Fife and shit.
And I'm going to do it when I can't even talk to you about it. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah. Stupid, Dido. No, I'm not banging on you. I'm just banging on the idea of that concept.
Or who told you that idea?
Yeah, it's
banging on them.
Bitch slap that fool. Just pop. But seriously, how can you price something you've never seen? How could you propose to your wife if you'd never met her or talked to her? Be like, that is a hot piece of yum yum. I want to put a ring on that. But you never know. It could be 100% opposite of what you're looking for, right? Exactly. No, and there's
an interesting analogy, but yes, I agree with you.
But so Matt, in that phrasing as well, I mean, I think we need to work on 2 different parts of the verbiage there. One, you're speaking real estate jargon. Nobody fucking understands your ass, except for the real estate agents. Talk about a needs analysis, not a CMA. And you're going to do a needs analysis. That's for the CMA. And then, what the fuck is the other one, Matt? You know what I'm going to say.
The jargon for what though?
The CMA. He's talking about the CMA and the listing appointment.
Listing. Don't call it a listing presentation.
Yes.
Call it either a listing consultation or, better yet, a needs analysis.
Yeah.
And then did you want to give another name for the CMA, the pre-listing package? I mean, I don't know exactly what you're going for because we covered the change in the listing presentation. But anyway, point of that being that number one, don't use jargon. Don't ever use the phrase CMA with a client. And I think the approach that I like the best is probably Aaron Wittenstein's, which is to go in armed with the information or access to it, right? So he brings an iPad Pro into his listing consultations, and he actually goes through the numbers right there with them and pulls up the latest live stuff so that they can, among other things, not only is it a very powerful demonstration that you know what you're talking about, but number two, it eliminates the possibility at all of them going, well, what about that home that sold, just around the corner? They're the exact same floor plan as us, and they sold for $20,000 more than you're quoting. And you can pull it up on the MLS and go, sir, that has an in-ground pool and a nicely fenced backyard, as well as a third. The store is their Maserati in a showroom. So a little bit different.
You might be a tad aggressive on your pricing. You are a 1-bedroom, sir, condo. They're a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. Could be a problem.
Well, that's when you start asking them questions like, what do you think this is worth? Like the differences. And so they kind of will talk themselves out of it if you do it that way. And then I would say,
hopefully, yes.
Hopefully. And then I like what you talked about with Wittenstein. A big thing is, if you're at your listing presentation, you have like an iPad and you're showing them that, make sure you're sitting next to them, not across from them. It's much more of a combative type of scenario when you're across the table and it's not like, hey, come over here with me, sit in my corner with me. We're going to go through this together as a team. Right.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, that's like sales 101. I love it.
So here is I just put another link in for you guys. It's called My Theo. It's a free app. You log in with your MLS ID and your real estate agent number and all that stuff, and it is incredibly easy to use, and it's MLS that's delivered straight to your mobile device. So if you guys don't have any other MLS apps or something, this is a really cool app that was just introduced to me at our legal update for my brokerage. Super cool, super easy, and you can look at the last 30 days of sold. You can do filters. You can draw on the map. You can do all kinds of cool shit. For showing agents, guys, you can put multiple locations in or multiple homes, like pull them that the buyers want to see. They'll automatically route the easiest route to the homes through the app. Thank you, baby Jesus. I have been looking for this for years. Very cool stuff. And you can use it in your listing presentations if you guys want to, and you can just use your phone if you don't have an iPad Plus or something along those lines.
Cool. All right, guys.
Well, we never got the content, sadly, Greg.
Ah, fuck.
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be all right. So let's, guys, just remember to follow us here on Facebook. Make sure you got the live notifications turned on so you know when the show goes live. And subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, or Stitcher, depending on whether you want the video version or the audio. Nestled right here, Greg, where you so belong.
So deep.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. And Scott, how do people connect up and learn more about you and Viral?
Yeah. So go to www.getviral.com. That's
Scott, I'm going to kill you if you say the words www ever again.
I'm stuck in the World Wide Web. It's the World Wide Web. It's this web out there.
Scott.
It's worldwide.
You guys, the link is right above Scott's head. It's VYAR. R-A. Dyslexic. Hey, man.
Or you can email me, Scott, Get Viral.
Look behind you.
Download. No, but seriously, guys, if you really want to learn the psychology behind why it's so important to have a foundation of a database, go to the databasereset.com, download our ebook, our marketing plan that we implement for all of our 500 clients. You can just take it and do it yourself, but it's a really good read, and it really gives you the understanding of the importance of generating repeat referral and listing business from your database.
Yep. Yeah, it's killer.
Really good thing.
Dan Burkle says, I got viral once, had to get medicine from the doctor. That is just a whole other thing. The next time I'm going to rip off How I Met Your Mother here. And the next time Greg and I are in a bar and he's chatting with a lovely lady, I'm just going to go walk up to Greg and say, Sir, I just got the word. Your crabs, they have super.
Oh, thank you, dude. You're the single one at this point, so if I see you talking to a chick at a bar, I'll
No, it
piss in
doesn't
your
work.
cereals.
All right.
Yes, it does.
Gregory, remember, guys, go check us out. PM Greg about personal coaching with him. You can do the same for me. PM me on Facebook or just go to bookjohnson.com. You can actually book a discovery call right on my calendar. If you're just really looking for help and strategy on where to go, just hit us up, guys. We're more than willing and happy to help. I want to see you guys succeed. That's why we do the show.
Yeah, remember, guys, do not go to bookajohnson.com because that will not be the coaching site. Be clear on this. Don't mess that up. You're going to have sites, images you can never burn out of your mind ever.
Bookatbigjohnson.com.
Yeah, dude. I thought about that on my go.
Johnson.
Right. Strong like bull.
Okay, guys. Now we have all the phallic images in our heads. Let's move forward. All right, guys. Hey, we do the show because we love you. If you like this and laugh your ass off. Oh, Matt, I totally forgot to tell you this, dude. Sillari.
Sorry.
But my mom admitted to me today that she listened to the show and she actually was laughing out loud and she was genuinely enjoyed the show. I'm like, finally, I'm vindicated. Finally. Right. But anyways, guys, we love you. We do this for you guys. Share it out to everybody. We want to grow this thing. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. All right, guys. Peace out, ninjas. We gone.